related pa rin sa pandemic response and poverty alleviation, what do you want to see sa immediate or short-term measures or policies na i-implement kagad ng gobyerno?
Alam mo, just kagabi lang, no, before going to sleep, I was looking at Joe Biden's policies for the U.S. Grabe, we should do what the U.S. is doing. I never thought I'd say this.
Yes, specific.
We should give more cash assistance to the poorest Filipinos. I think giving 10,000 pesos, again, to the poorest 18 million Filipino families, putting money in Filipino families' pockets. Because those bottom 75% Filipinos, they have no savings at all. Isang kahit isang tuka sila. So putting 10,000 pesos a month for maybe 2 to 3 months in their pockets, one, would immediately improve their welfare. Secondly, it will actually stimulate the economy because the more or less 180 billion pesos that you're giving to them, they're not going to save that. They're going to be spending that in the local economy. And our counterpoint there is infrastructure. If you give 180 billion pesos to a, Mega Manila subway, maybe half or more than half is going to go to Japan, the contractors to import the contractors, equipment, the materials. In China nga, apparently we're importing labor there. So for us, immediately big cash subsidies to the poorest Filipinos. But at the same time, parang inflationary, real support for micro, small, and medium enterprises. And businesses aren't opening now because they know they have no markets apart from the quarantine still in place. So, and again, the reason it's so amazing that bank lending turned negative last month. That's crazy. It's the first time in like 14 years where bank lending turned negative. It means mga negosyo, there are not going to be any customers there.
But there are those who would argue na wala raw pera yung gobyerno for more SAPs.
Siyempre, that's a matter of judgment, no? Sa amin, the one-liner is, if the government is willing to give big corporations and foreign firms 133 billion pesos under CREATE, that takes away their moral high ground to say na walang pera. Because they're giving up a sure thing, 133 billion pesos for no stimulus effect. Pero on the larger scale, there's money. I mean, you're looking at the 1.1 trillion peso infrastructure program right now for 2021. A lot of the feasibility studies were made at a time na everyone was so giddy about growth prospects. A lot of those projects aren't going to be feasible anymore. And a lot of those projects are very import intensive. So parang post-pandemic, with such huge poverty, such huge unemployment, medyo nagabago yung social and economic priorities. You can be more selective. And we'd argue, a lot of these big-ticket infrastructure projects, the money the government is spending for that is better spent on cash subsidies. And that's only the pinaka-short term. We'd also argue, instead of borrowing again from development agencies, I mean, what is it to talk to the World Bank and the ADB? Hey guys, pa-time out naman for a couple of years kasi we really need the money. Instead of us borrowing more money to spend, can we sort of not service our debts muna? Kasi I think a lot of people are forgetting, whatever the World Bank ADB lent us last year, actually we paid back as debt servicing last year and we will be paying back this year. So sa amin, mas rational, hey, time out muna, get over this debt repayment fixation. Tapos long term, kaya super na-amaze talaga ako with Joe Biden. There is money in the Philippine economy. It's just not being taxed. It doesn't make sense that you have 50 Filipinos with a net worth of 4.1 billion pesos, but that wealth isn't being taxed at all. So, a 1%, 2%, 3% tax can generate a few 100 billion pesos there. Why not implement a wealth tax, borrow against that wealth tax, and repay that debt with the wealth tax you'll be earning? Tapos last point, again, recently we computed lang. A lot of our infrastructure projects are making commercial developers really wealthy. If you build an MRT, LRT, property values around the stations, they go up 3, 4, 5 times. No one's taxing that windfall increase. It's basically subsidized wealth of our oligarchs by the government because they built a transport system. So parang there can be money. It's not going to be easy, of course, but there can be money if we tried hard enough. We're a bit more creative and actually, put our heart in it. There are options. Just, hindi na kailangan pag-business as usual.